So I was working on setting up my SANS SIFT workstation, and I decided that I would try to outsmart the official website where I can either download the appliance, which I've done that before and that worked fine, or they have this other one that's called the easy installation, and it tells you to use version 1604. If you go to the Ubuntu website, you'll see that there's a newer version 1804 long-term support available. So I said, oh, well, that must mean that one. And so I spent a day working on that. Doesn't work. I ran into several errors. The location where they store several things changed, and you'll just have a lot easier time if you just follow the instructions that they give you to start with. So what I did is I went ahead and set up my Ubuntu 16.04 box. I installed the SIFT CLI command line interface following the instructions here. It's essentially you make sure you run this as admin. So sudo SIFT CLI Linux, run that, and then also get this SHA-256 key. You import your PGP keys and then validate them, and then you turn this into an executable down here. Anyhow, so at that point you'll have your workstation and you'll want to run any updates. So I decided to run updates on the last time where I was working with this, and so I just did SIFT update. That didn't work for me, so I did sudo SIFT update. It told me which version I was on, which I was on a pretty up-to-date version, and then I had an error in here. So the default way that this update works, I had one little error in here that it tries to run this command apt-get remove the old salt minion, salt common. So if you just run the SIFT update, you'll get an error, or I did. So what I did instead is I took this command and I ran it minus the yes option. So we'll see down here. So I just ran this without the switch Y. Then it came through and it let me, I had to answer it, so it was an attended install that removed the old one, removed this one, and installed everything. At that point I could run my update, and you can see that it updated a ton of stuff here. So it took probably 25-30 minutes. And so it just updated tons and tons of packages for me, settings, even updated a lot of things that did not change, like these PDFs on the desktop. But what it does is it just goes through the entire package and updates it. And so I had 531 successes, 8 failures. If I run into something later on where I have the failure, we'll address that. Then if I wanted to open in this other terminal over here and just verify that everything is still on the latest release, I can see that I'm running Ubuntu 1604, right? And so that kind of gives me a little bit of comfort knowing that I'm running the version that SANS recommends that I run. From that point, you can start working with Autopsy. You can go through and just browse through the different applications and tools that are available. So I'll go down here to the applications, and I've got it set already. By default, you'll probably see just a few things, and you may wonder, is anything installed? So just click this, and you can see all of the different forensic tools that we've had installed. BitPim, here's an hex editor, EtherApe. Let's see. So there's tons of things in here that you can open: Hydra, Wireshark, but there's also a lot of stuff in here that you do not see. All right. So let's see. Let me close this. So if I open a new terminal and I want to use something like Autopsy, I'll just do sudo autopsy, and it'll give me, it'll start running in the background, and now I'll just copy, let me see if I can open this link. Yep. And then what this is going to do is going to bring open my Autopsy forensic browser. From here I'll be able to work, create new cases, open cases, add evidence, things like that. So that will be one of the things that we'll be using Autopsy for. We'll be using SANS SIFT for, and then troubleshooting it, getting it to work. We'll deal with that as we get closer to it. Alrighty, thanks.